in October of 2015, you were staying at the In-Town Suites because you had gotten evicted from your apartment. And she said she paid $1,348 for the In-Town Suites, where I assume you and your daughter were staying. Did she do that?
Yes, ma'am, but I didn't get evicted.
Okay, but she paid that bill.
But she did pay it. Yes, she did.
Okay, great. Then, in November, you started to stay at the Ocean View Inn.
Yes, ma'am.
Who paid that bill?
She paid that bill. She paid it in advance.
$1,099.
Yes, ma'am. She paid that.
She says on November 20th, you had an outstanding back payment with Sunrise Apartments.
Yes, ma'am.
For $1,440.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you wanted to move back into Sunrise Apartments.
No, ma'am.
You did not. Did you ever move back into Sunrise?
No, ma'am.
So why did you pay this $1,440?
I had to pay $1,400 because I had to break the lease.
Well, but that was in 2014. Then you moved to other places.
It's 2016. I moved into Sunrise Apartments in 2014. I moved out of Sunrise Apartments in 2015, 16.
Well, then what were you staying in motels for?
Because I was waiting for public housing, and I had signed a lease, but I was living with my son when I moved in Sunrise Apartments at first. My son moved out, and I went to take over the lease. But it was a year's lease that was signed, and public housing said that I couldn't be in a lease for a year. So the lease was canceled 14 days after I had signed it. And I bought a letter, I bought my 30-day notice also, where I had to cancel the lease, and I also bought the lease.
Now, did you tell her in October that your car had stopped working and
Yes,
that you
ma'am.
needed to fix your car?
Yes, it broke down on the way taking Seven to school, yes.
And did she, in fact, at that time, give you $695?
She paid for it. She said her husband said pay for it.
What do you do for a living?
My husband and I, we own a clothing manufacturing company.
Why did you give her all this money?
Well, the reason why I tried to help Seven, my niece, is because they have been displaced for so many years. They have been from Atlanta to Kentucky to Detroit, and I just wanted her to have some stability. So my reason for doing that was for Seven, not for Miss Wills.
For her daughter.
For the daughter, yes. And they call me Aunt Sharon. For over 13 years, I have been assisting her, sending her money. And so those loans, I mean, those were gifts. But 2014, that's when the loan started.
Anything you want to tell me?
Yes, ma'am. I borrowed that money for Sharon in 2014 because I had money coming in. And I told her that it would be a few months before the money came in. And as soon as I got that money, 2 days after the money went into the bank, it went direct deposit, I went and withdrew $1,300 and I took it down to Sharon's house to give it back to her. She told me to give it to her husband. I gave it to her husband. Seven was with me. That's not the money that she's...
No, I know that.
Okay, you said, okay. It's been 16 years. I spent every holiday, every birthday, every Thanksgiving. She was like my sister because my family turned on me. I came out of a bad marriage, and she helped me, and she calls her Aunt Sharon. Sharon's like a sister to me. And everything Sharon done for me, I appreciate. I never told Sharon, ma'am, that I was going to pay her back, that I had another income coming in. When I borrowed this money, I showed her the letter that they gave me, that how much I was getting and when I was going to get. And so says I do not pay money for 2 years in a row. It was only 2 payments. And I did that. She told me what she was doing for me was because of Seven. She told Seven the same thing. Originally, I wasn't going into the hotel. I asked her if I could stay at her house. She said, yeah, because I spend most of my time over there anyway. She talked to her husband. Her husband said that I couldn't stay there because the family would be upset because she showed me more attention than her family members.